If you're over 60, I want you to pause for just a moment and truly hear this. Every single thing you do or don't do today matters more than ever before. I know that might sound dramatic, but it's the honest truth. Your heart, your joints, your energy, your breath, they're not the same as they were 20 years ago. And that's not something to fear. That's something to understand. Because once you do, you can begin to care for yourself in a way that's smarter, kinder, and far more powerful than you might think. You see, a lot of seniors I talk to, men and women just like you, have been told that aging means decline, that you just have to accept the aches, the tiredness, the shortness of breath. But the truth is, many of those things aren't just age. They're warnings. They're signs that your heart is asking you for something different, something better. And here's where it gets important. Some of the exercises you've been told are good for you, the workouts you've seen online or heard about from younger folks, might actually be doing more harm than good. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your body today isn't the same body it used to be. It needs a different kind of care. In this video, I'm going to gently walk you through 9 common habits and exercises that many older adults are doing, sometimes every day, without realizing they could be quietly putting their heart at risk. My goal isn't to scare you. It's to empower you. Because when you understand what's going on inside your body, you get to make better choices. And better choices mean more energy, more peace of mind, and yes, more years lived fully. Now before we begin, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you're someone who truly wants to take care of your health and age with confidence, drop a number 1 in the comments below. It lets me know you're here, you're listening, and you're ready to take your health seriously. And if you're not quite sure yet, type 0. I still want to hear from you honestly. Your voice matters. Let's get started. High-intensity workouts. When pushing hard pushes too far. Let's have an honest talk. If you're over 60, you've probably been told at some point to keep pushing, to stay strong, to prove age is just a number. And I admire that spirit. I really do. But there's something important I need you to understand, especially when it comes to high-intensity workouts like HIIT, fast-paced aerobics, sprinting, or anything that makes your heart race in a short period of time. These exercises may be popular with the younger crowd, but your heart, the one that's carried you through decades of life, doesn't need to be shocked into action anymore. It needs steady support, not sudden demands. You see, after 60, your arteries tend to stiffen a bit. Your heart's electrical signals don't travel quite as smoothly. Your body takes just a little longer to recover after exertion. That's all normal. But when you throw your heart into a high-speed, start-stop routine, like jumping jacks 1 minute and rest the next, then back into squats and fast pedaling, it's like asking an old car engine to race at full speed on a cold morning. It can handle it for a bit, maybe, but over time, that kind of pressure wears it down fast. And here's the scary part. The damage isn't always loud. Sometimes it shows up as a little dizziness. Sometimes it's a flutter in your chest at night, or just a feeling of being more tired than usual. Many seniors ignore these signs, blaming age or thinking it'll pass. But these are your body's early warning signals. If you've felt this before, even once, I want you to take it seriously. Now listen, this doesn't mean you stop moving. Movement is life. But the kind of movement matters. Gentle, steady exercise, like walking at a comfortable pace, doing Tai Chi, or swimming in warm water, can actually strengthen your heart without scaring it. These are not easy workouts. They're smart workouts. The kind that help you live longer, sleep better, and feel calmer. So the next time you feel tempted to join a fast-paced senior fitness class, ask yourself, is this about proving something or protecting something? Because your heart doesn't need intensity, it needs intention. Core crunches and heavy lifting. When strength training turns into strain. Let's talk about something that's often misunderstood, strength. Many seniors take pride in being strong enough to carry groceries, lift grandkids, or even shovel the driveway. And I celebrate that pride. You've earned it. But strength isn't about lifting the heaviest weight or doing 20 crunches in a row. True strength, especially after 60, is about knowing your limits and protecting your most important muscle, your heart. You may not realize it, but every time you do a sit-up, crunch, or lift something heavy, you're creating pressure. Not just in your arms or legs, but deep inside your chest and abdomen. That pressure squeezes your heart. It raises your blood pressure fast. It forces your heart to work harder in just a few seconds than it normally would all day. if your arteries are already a little stiff or your heart rhythm is a bit off, and that's very common after 60. This kind of strain can tip the balance from safe to dangerous. I've seen it firsthand. One of my patients, a 68-year-old woman in great shape, started doing online core workouts with crunches and dumbbell lifts. She felt just a bit winded at first, but after a few weeks, she experienced sudden dizziness and shortness of breath, right in the middle of her morning exercises. Her heart wasn't damaged, thank God, but it was definitely under stress. The issue wasn't effort. It was technique. Most people don't realize they hold their breath while lifting or tightening their core, even briefly. That little reflex can cause your blood pressure to rise and drop in wild swings. That's risky business for any aging heart. But there's a better way. You can still build strength safely. Try seated leg lifts, gentle pelvic tilts, or use resistance bands instead of heavy weights. Focus on slow, steady breathing during each movement. And if you can, work with a trainer who understands how older bodies move, not someone who just wants to tone your abs. Remember, you're not training for a bodybuilding contest. You're training for life, for the moments that matter most, standing strong, walking safely, and hugging the ones you love without fear. Exercising in extreme temperatures, when weather becomes a silent enemy. Let's step outside for a moment, not physically, but in thought. Think about the last time you went for a walk on a hot day, or maybe a chilly morning just after sunrise. It might have felt refreshing at first, but did you come home unusually tired? A bit dizzy? Maybe your heart was racing more than usual? If so, you're not alone, and there's a very real reason why. As we age, our body's ability to manage temperature, hot or cold, changes. The sweat glands don't cool us as efficiently. The blood vessels don't open and close as quickly. And your heart, it has to work double time to keep your internal body temperature in a safe zone. That's why exercising in extreme weather, whether it's sweltering heat or biting cold, can turn a simple walk into a serious strain on your heart. I want to tell you about someone I knew, Arthur, a 74-year-old former firefighter. A strong, disciplined man. He walked every day, rain or shine. But one hot July morning, he decided to stick to his routine, even as the temperature soared. By the time he got home, he felt lightheaded. He brushed it off as just needing water. But hours later, he was in the ER with signs of heat-related heart stress. His blood work showed elevated markers, the kind that mean his heart was under pressure it couldn't handle. And cold weather is no better. On frosty mornings, your blood vessels tighten. That raises your blood pressure, especially risky for anyone already dealing with hypertension or stiff arteries. The result? Chest tightness, shortness of breath, or even a cardiac event without warning. So what should you do instead? Simple. Protect yourself. Walk indoors, at a senior center, a mall, or even around your home. If you must go outside, avoid midday heat in summer, and wait until mid-morning in winter when it's a bit warmer. Always dress in layers, stay well hydrated, and listen to your body. If you feel flushed, dizzy, or unusually cold, stop. Arthur now walks indoors where the temperature is always comfortable. His heart is safer, and so is his peace of mind. Remember, exercise is medicine, but the dose and the environment must fit your age. You're not weak for avoiding the weather. You're wise for working with your body, not against it. Jumping, rapid movements, and sudden direction changes, when fast turns into dangerous. Let's take a moment and talk about something that might surprise you. You know that upbeat senior aerobics class, the fun dance moves, the hopping, the side steps, the quick turns, it all looks joyful, and for some, it even feels like turning back the clock. But I want to ask you something. Have you ever done one of these classes and then felt your heart pounding a little too fast? Or maybe you felt off balance, dizzy, or short of breath. You might have thought, I'm just tired today. But the truth is, your body may be telling you something important. As we get older, our bodies don't process sudden changes the way they used to. Your heart needs time to adjust. Your balance takes just a split second longer to recover. Your muscles and joints, especially in the knees and hips, may not respond instantly when you land after a jump or pivot fast. And your nervous system, which once reacted in milliseconds, now moves just a little slower. That's not failure. That's biology. It's natural. Let me tell you about Doris, a vibrant 70-year-old and a former ballroom dance instructor. She still had the rhythm and the passion. She joined a senior-friendly cardio dance class at her local community center. The instructor was young and energetic. The class included quick direction changes, light jumping, and fast-paced music. Doris loved it at first, but after a few sessions, she noticed her heart would race differently, not in a good way. One night, she woke up breathless. The next day, her heart test showed irregular beats. Nothing life-threatening, but clearly a warning. What caused it? Not the movement itself, but the suddenness. The jumping, twisting, quick-shifting movements confused her heart and balance system. That's the hidden chaos I'm talking about. Your heart thrives on rhythm, not surprises. Sudden movements spike your blood pressure, demand fast oxygen delivery, and create turbulence in your circulation. For an aging heart, that can be a dangerous storm. The solution? Switch to flow-based exercises. Try Tai Chi, water aerobics, or even slow dance routines that build coordination without jerking your body around. These exercises still keep you moving, but they respect your pace, your rhythm, your age. Doris now says she feels stronger than ever, not because she moves faster, but because she moves smarter. So if your workouts involve jumping or fast changes, take a pause. Your heart doesn't need you to be fast, it needs you to be steady. Exercising too late at night, when good intentions disrupt the heart's healing. Let me ask you something gently. Have you ever waited until the end of the day to squeeze in a walk or do a few stretches before bed? Maybe after dinner, when the house is quiet, and you finally have time for yourself? You're doing it with the best of intentions, to stay active, keep your blood moving, and feel productive before sleep. But what if I told you that this well-meaning habit might be quietly disturbing your heart's natural healing process? You see, after 60, your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm, becomes more delicate. That clock controls not just your sleep, but also your metabolism, blood pressure, and even how your heart beats. When you exercise late at night, even gentle movement, your body gets the wrong message. It thinks it's time to stay awake, to get alert, to prepare for action. That triggers your fight or flight system. Your adrenaline rises, cortisol goes up, and your heart, it stays in a slightly heightened state, even as you're trying to rest. I had a patient, Evelyn, age 69. She started doing yoga and a short bike ride every night before bed to help with stress. A beautiful idea in theory, but after a few weeks, she noticed her sleep was getting worse. She woke up in the night, heart pounding, soaked in sweat. At first, she thought it was anxiety or maybe menopause. But we traced it back to one simple thing. Her nighttime workouts were keeping her body in a state of stimulation, not relaxation. You see, deep sleep is when your heart truly repairs itself. That's when blood pressure drops, inflammation goes down, and your heart's rhythm gets a chance to reset. But if you go into that sleep window with elevated stress hormones and body heat from exercise, you're robbing your heart of that precious recovery time. Evelyn made one simple change. She moved her workouts to early afternoon and ended her evenings with a warm bath and quiet stretching. Within 2 weeks, her sleep returned, her blood pressure improved, and she woke up feeling refreshed again. So here's what I want you to remember. Exercise is wonderful, but timing matters. Aim for mornings or early afternoons. Give your heart the nighttime it needs to rest, restore, and rebuild. Because your heart isn't just asking for movement. It's also asking for peace. Ignoring what your body is trying to tell you, the quiet power of listening. If you're over 60, I want to tell you something that might be the most important message in this entire guide. Your body is speaking to you every day, not with loud alarms, but with quiet signals, a little more tiredness than usual, a flutter in your chest at night, a bit of shortness of breath after doing something small, like walking up the stairs. Most seniors I meet don't ignore these signs out of neglect. They ignore them out of habit, out of humility, out of the belief that it's just age or I don't want to make a fuss. But here's the truth. Those little signals aren't inconveniences. They're messages. And if you don't listen to them, they can become warnings. One of my patients, Thomas, a 73-year-old retired truck driver, was like that. Strong, independent, proud. For years, he pushed through his fatigue, his nighttime heart flutters, and even shortness of breath after mowing the lawn. He told himself, it's just getting older. But one day, he fainted on his porch. When we ran tests, we found he had an irregular heart rhythm called atrial fibrillation. His heart had been trying to get his attention for months, maybe longer. It didn't have to reach that point. And if you felt any of these signs, tiredness that doesn't go away with rest, dizziness when standing up, pressure in the chest, or even just feeling off, please don't brush it off. Your heart isn't being dramatic. It's asking for help. And I'm not just talking about emergency symptoms. I'm talking about small, everyday discomforts that seniors too often ignore. The ones they wave away by saying, "I'm just slowing down." No, your body is wise. It's been with you for decades. When it sends you a signal, that's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of partnership. The real strength is not in pushing through. It's in paying attention, choosing rest when you need it, asking questions when something feels different, saying no when your body whispers, "Not today." Thomas now walks daily, not to prove anything, but to care for the body that served him all his life. He meditates in the mornings. He listens, finally, and in his words, "I feel more alive now that I stopped trying to be the old me." So please, don't wait for your body to raise its voice. Start listening when it whispers. That's how you protect your heart. That's how you stay safe. That's how you age with wisdom. The cost of doing nothing, when inactivity slowly steals your heart's strength. Let's take a moment to reflect, quietly and honestly. When was the last time you moved your body? Even just a little, not out of routine or obligation, but with care. If your answer is, "It's been a while," please don't feel ashamed. You're not alone. After retirement, after illness, or after loss, many older adults find themselves sitting more and moving less. It happens slowly, and at first, it feels harmless, even deserved. You tell yourself, "I've earned this rest." And you have. But there's a difference between resting and stopping. And stopping, doing nothing, is a bigger threat to your heart than you might realize. Let me tell you about Henry. He was 76, recently widowed, and quietly sinking into a life of stillness. No one noticed at first. He still got up every day, but he mostly sat, at the table, on the couch, in front of the TV. He told himself, "I'm not in pain, so I must be fine." But when he came to see me months later, his heart told a different story. It had grown weaker, not from overuse, but from underuse. No attacks, no big warning signs, just slow, quiet loss of strength. You see, your heart is a muscle. And like any muscle, it needs regular use to stay strong. Not stress, just gentle, steady motion. When you sit too long too often, your circulation slows. Your blood vessels become less flexible. Your heart starts working harder just to do basic tasks. Over time, this raises your risk of high blood pressure, heart failure, even diabetes and depression. The danger of inactivity is that it doesn't shout. It whispers. You get a little more tired, a little more breathless. You walk a shorter distance. And one day, you find you can't do what you used to, and it sneaks up on you. But here's the hope. It's never too late to change. Henry didn't need a gym or a trainer. He started by walking to the mailbox twice a day, then to the end of the block. 6 months later, he was walking a mile every morning. His heart got stronger, his mind clearer, his grief lighter. You don't have to move fast. You just have to move consistently. Even stretching while your coffee brews, walking around your home, or doing 5 minutes of chair yoga makes a difference. Every step, every breath, it adds up. Inactivity isn't just about losing strength. It's about losing independence, confidence, and joy. But you still have time. Your heart is waiting. Let it remember how to work with you again. Misusing gentle exercise. When safe, movement isn't always safe without the right approach. Now let's talk about something that may seem harmless, even helpful, but still carries risk when it's not done with the care your body deserves. Gentle exercise. I'm talking about movements like Tai Chi, yoga, water aerobics, and light stretching. All excellent choices for older adults. But here's what most people don't realize. Even gentle movement, if done improperly or without awareness, can quietly overload your heart. Let me explain with a real story. Lorraine, a 71-year-old retired librarian, came to see me after she nearly fainted during her weekly yoga class. She'd taken it up to stay flexible and reduce stress. Exactly what every doctor recommends, right? But her class was taught by a young, enthusiastic instructor who didn't fully understand the needs of an aging body. The poses involved deep forward folds, quick transitions, and, most importantly, long periods of breath holding. After just a few weeks, Lorraine started feeling dizzy after class. Her balance felt off. Her blood pressure began fluctuating. When we looked closer, we found that the way she was exercising, not the exercise itself, was creating strain on her cardiovascular system. Every time she held her breath during a stretch or moved too quickly from floor to standing, her heart was struggling to adjust. You see, as we age, our heart and blood vessels become more sensitive. Quick shifts in position, holding your breath, or rushing through gentle routines can confuse your internal balance system. That can lead to lightheadedness, irregular heartbeats, or even falls, all while doing something that's supposed to be therapeutic. But here's the good news. Lorraine didn't stop doing yoga. She adapted it. With a certified senior yoga therapist, she learned to move with breath awareness, use supportive props like blocks and chairs, and avoid any postures that made her feel unsteady. Now, she practices 3 times a week, and instead of feeling drained, she feels restored. So if you're doing Tai Chi, yoga, or water aerobics, that's wonderful. Truly. But make sure your instructor understands aging physiology. Avoid holding your breath. Move slowly between positions. Never rush, and never ignore discomfort. Gentle exercise isn't automatically safe. It becomes safe and powerful when done with intention and awareness. Always listen to how your body feels during the movement, not just after. Your heart will tell you when something's wrong, if you give it a chance to speak. He believed that, "I'm too old to change," when mindset becomes the greatest risk to your heart. I want to speak to you directly now, not just as a health guide, but as someone who truly cares about the stories you carry and the strength you often underestimate in yourself. There's a belief I hear more than any other from seniors I've worked with over the years. It usually comes in a soft voice, with a shrug and a half smile. "Doc, I'm just too old to change now." That belief, not your heart condition, not your age, not your medications, could be the most dangerous thing holding you back. Because once you believe it's too late, you stop trying. You ignore small wins. You write off possibilities. You tell yourself that your body can't heal, or that change won't matter now. And that belief slowly shuts down the very systems in your body that depend on hope and movement to keep working. But here's what science and real people have taught me. Your heart is always listening to your mindset. When you believe you can improve, your body responds. It becomes more resilient. Inflammation drops. Blood pressure levels improve. Even your heart rhythm becomes steadier. Why? Because belief reduces stress, and stress is the enemy of your heart. I had a patient named James, 81 years old, a retired Navy veteran. Proud, independent, but quietly defeated. His daughter brought him in, worried about his fatigue and sleep problems. When I asked about his health routine, he sighed and said, "At my age, what's the point?" That broke my heart more than his test results. So I asked him for just 4 weeks. Nothing extreme, just light stretching in the morning, a short walk in the afternoon, and 5 minutes of breathing exercises before bed. That's all. And do you know what happened? He came back a month later with a steadier heartbeat, improved sleep, and most importantly, a spark in his eyes. He looked at me and said, "I feel better than I've felt in years." What changed? His belief. Once he started to trust that his body could still respond, it did. So let me say this to you now, clearly and with kindness. You are not too old. You are not too far gone. And you are not out of time. Your body may move slower, but your ability to improve, to heal, to feel joy, to grow, is still alive. All you need is a willingness to believe in the possibility of change. What should I be doing instead? The movements that truly protect and strengthen your aging heart. After everything we've talked about, the risky habits, the common mistakes, and the mindset shifts, you might be wondering, okay, then what should I actually do? It's a good question, and it's the right one, because avoiding danger is only part of the story. The real victory comes when you replace the wrong kinds of movement with the right ones, the kinds of exercise that match your heart's current needs, your body's rhythm, and your stage of life. So here's what I want you to remember. After 60, your heart doesn't respond best to fast, intense movement. It responds best to gentle consistency. The goal is not to push harder, but to move with purpose, in ways that encourage blood flow, lower inflammation, reduce blood pressure, and build confidence, not fear. I want to share the story of Anita, a 67-year-old retired school teacher. She wasn't out of shape, But she was scared. Scared to move too much. Scared of her irregular heartbeat. What she wanted most wasn't fitness. It was peace. She said to me, "I just want to feel safe in my body again." So we built her a heart-safe routine. Nothing extreme. Just daily movement with intention. Each morning, she began with 5 minutes of calm breathing, seated in her favorite chair. Then a 20-minute walk, not fast, just steady. Outside when the weather was good, or at her senior center when it wasn't. 3 times a week, she added light resistance band exercises. And twice a week, she joined a local Tai Chi class. 6 months later, Anita told me, "I'm not just moving better. I'm living better." Her blood pressure improved. Her sleep returned. But most importantly, her confidence came back. Here are the top 5 movements I recommend for most seniors. Walking. Even just 10 to 30 minutes a day at a comfortable pace improves circulation and supports heart rhythm. Tai Chi. Gentle, flowing movements that reduce stress and enhance balance. Chair yoga or gentle stretching promotes flexibility and breath awareness without strain. Water aerobics or light swimming. Easy on joints, excellent for endurance and heart function. Resistance bands builds muscle, protects bone density, and supports posture without overloading the heart. These exercises don't leave you gasping. They leave you centered. They're not about breaking records. They're about honoring your body, one step at a time. So if you've been waiting for the perfect moment to start, this is it. Today, right now, you don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need a little space, a little patience, and a whole lot of self-kindness. Because the best exercise for your heart is the one you do consistently, gently, and with love. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you, not just for watching, but for choosing to be here, for choosing to care. That tells me something powerful about you. You haven't given up on yourself. And that, my friend, is one of the strongest decisions you could ever make. You see, I've spent years listening to hearts, literally. I've watched them race, falter, recover, and grow stronger. And what I've learned is this. The people who live well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond aren't the ones who never make mistakes. They're the ones who keep showing up for themselves, with honesty, with humility, and with hope. Your heart has been beating for you every single day of your life. Through joy and loss, through movement and stillness, through every quiet morning and noisy holiday dinner. It never once asked for perfection. All it's ever needed is your attention. So if today is the first time you've really listened to your body, welcome. It's not too late. It never was. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fast. You just have to be present. To move when you can. To rest when you need to choose food that nourishes, to notice how you feel, to listen to your breath, and above all, to believe that your best years are not behind you. They are ahead of you. In the moments where you choose peace over pressure, consistency over intensity, and self-care over self-criticism. So here's what I'd love from you now. Take a moment and share one thing you're taking away from this video. One lesson, one habit you'll try, one thought that stuck with you. Type it in the comments. Your voice matters. Not just to me, but to others here who are walking the same path. And if this message spoke to your heart, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with someone you care about. You never know whose life you might quietly change. Until next time, take gentle care of your heart. And remember, you're not starting over, you're starting again, with more wisdom than ever before.